Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Buechler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. And once again, we're talking about Doctor Who. Is the BBC messing with the Doctor Who scripts? Well, according to Neil Gaiman, the answer is yes. This season and the last two, to be fair, have been pretty bad. Moffat's second to last episode is called The Doctor Falls. Indeed, he/she has to rock bottom. We've had a theory for quite some time that the script process at Doctor Who has to go through some sort of checklist or a script supervisor to maximize political ideology. One-sided political ideology, by the way. I'm sure they don't see it that way, but most people in the center, most normal people do. And according to the feedback we've gotten in the chat and in comments, more and more people are becoming aware of this. This is good, but really bad for Doctor Who because it makes your plot second or third in priority, which is pretty bad. Now, before we get to the article, the Christmas special, it is confirmed, has been moved to New Year's Day. It is my belief that is a permanent move. We will not get any more Christmas specials, and I will stick to my guns on this one. It was a PC move, and nothing more than a PC move. The only argument that the BBC has put out there is that the Doctor Who writers have run out of ideas, which is complete BS. Let's get to the article. From Digital Spy, Neil Gaiman says Doctor Who messed with fellow writers' script. The author said he read a script that was rather better than the episode. Well, this happens a lot, but let's go on. Neil Gaiman has revealed that Doctor Who once messed with fellow writers' script in the past, and not for the better. Last week it was announced that the American Gods author will adapt Mervyn Peake's epic Gorbengast book series for television, alongside Being Human scribe Toby Whitehouse. Ooh, that sounds cool. During a Q&A sit-down about the forthcoming series, Gaiman shared that he almost worked with Whitehouse for his first time when they both worked on episodes of Doctor Who and met at a reading for the scripts. The nearest we'd come to working together was when we met at a reading of Doctor Who. Toby's episode had been read in the morning and mine in the afternoon, Gaiman told Deadline. We definitely liked each other, and we liked each other's work. Because I was writing Doctor Who, I had the privilege of reading Toby's script, which I felt on the whole was rather better than the episode. I got to read the raw script before people who weren't Toby started messing with them, which is, well, we'll get to that. Whitehouse has written a number of Doctor Who episodes, but Gaiman didn't specify which of his episodes he was referring to here. Now, Toby Whitehouse has written a lot of Doctor Who episodes, but during Neil Gaiman's time, it was The Vampires of Venice, The God Complex, or A Town Called Mercy. My guess, it was probably A Town Called Mercy. He also wrote School Reunion, which is great during the Tennant era, but he's also done The Lie of the Land and Under the Lake, and Before the Flood, which were really, really bad. But that's when the big change happened for Doctor Who. It feels like right around the halfway through season 7, the writing just went way downhill. And I don't know what's behind that. It feels like there was some kind of structural change in how they did the episodes. That's what happens when these IPs get big. More and more people want to get their hands in them and have their name attached to it. Too many cooks in the kitchen, as they say, and it almost becomes too big to succeed. And I think that's where we're at now, where we're getting this really blandly competent, barely blandly competent episodes of borderline propaganda. Actually, that's the way I see it, and a lot of others are seeing it. We're more and more I'm seeing in our chat and in our comments that people are getting upset with how much politics are in this, how PC Doctor Who has become. It's cringeworthy. It's also worth pointing out that this is far from the first time Gaiman has appeared not to be entirely impressed with the Doctor Who experience. And then Neil Gaiman goes on to talk about the Doctor's wife and Nightmare in Silver, and he had a good experience with one of those episodes and a very bad with the other. Now, I had heard that Nightmare in Silver was supposed to be a 2-part episode, and they put it into one. Don't know what was behind that. My guess is the BBC, and it was probably budgetary or whatever. I would have loved to have seen that be a 2-part episode. I thought there was some good bits in it, like he said, and it just felt rushed at the end. But, to have the nads to want to add notes or to add to Neil Gaiman's scripts, there's maybe a handful of people in the world who have the talent to do that, and I don't think any of them were working at the BBC at the time. Now, what has this got to do with what's going on now in the scripts? Well, I think this just proves to everybody, if you'd had any doubt, that yes, these scripts go through some sort of process before they reach the actors and get to us, and the finished product has to have, it's almost like adding in advertising, placement advertising. It's placement politics. That's what's going on with Doctor Who. And it's really obvious. So much so, Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear and the Grand Tour pointed it out in The Sun in an article, which was actually pretty funny, and I'll read it to you now. Okay, and this is in an article that I don't, might be considered a bit of a controversial headline. Jeremy Clarkson, BBC now only giving frontline jobs to women, just like Doctor Who, and they've totally lost the plot. Back in the summer, a BBC chief actually said that the days of a middle-aged white man standing on hills telling the viewers things are over, writes Jeremy Clarkson. Haven't watched Doctor Who since I was a small boy, and I didn't understand it even then, but I'm told the current series is in trouble, with viewing figures in free fall. Angry fans say it's littered with ham-fisted attempts to ram lefty dogma down our throats. And you look at the storylines, it seems like they do have a point. Viewing figures for this year's Doctor Who series starring Jodie Whittaker are not doing well, writes Jeremy Clarkson. The Doctor has witnessed a man giving birth and has visited a civil rights activist in Alabama in the 1950s. It's not so much exterminate, 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 as much as it's indoctrinate, indoctrinate, indoctrinate. Next up, I should imagine the TARDIS will be served free of charge by a nice bearded man called Jeremy Corbyn. The BBC really is having a hard time being neutral these days. Amen, brother. Amen. And that's all we ask. Okay, I'm not asking for the other side's politics or any side's politics. I'm asking for escapism over and over again, and I'm not going to stop. Yes, I will eventually stop watching this show because it's just not good. Of course, we cover it for this channel. We're also an outlet for people who are upset because there's nowhere else for them to go. Most of the comment sections are shut down on most of these websites, or their comments are deleted. That's not going to happen here, whether you agree with me or not. Now, sometimes YouTube does that, and I have no power over that. But as long as it's not a personal attack, and you disagree with me, that's cool. That's totally cool. And I want this to be an outlet, a place where we can discuss like what has gone wrong with the show, and maybe a place we can discuss like how can we make it better. Now, we have no power. I have no power to change this show other than to not give it any money, which is what I strongly recommend you do. Your time and your money are valuable. Now, if you decide to watch the show and you're just briefly entertained and it's disposable for you, that's cool, because that's kind of what it is. It's just a disposable show filled with political product placement. So yeah, and Neil Gaiman has proven that there is doctoring, well, not doctoring of scripts, because that would mean it was good. That means scripts are being messed with. And I appreciate Neil Gaiman's honesty, and he has the power to do it. And I think, why even bring that up in this interview? So I think he might have been trying to defend Chibnall a little bit, because Chibnall has been getting some heat from people like me and stuff. And maybe he's not entirely in control of his show. So that sucks. But he's taking the paycheck. Now, the fans in the BBC will defend this show, saying the viewing numbers are great in the UK, and they are up from Capaldi's, but they have declined from the first episode, and here in the States, they have declined to Capaldi levels. So Jeremy Clarkson is right. The ratings are going down. Why is that? Because people aren't into the show. And it's still going to do well. Listen, The Force Awakens did well. There's fans of that movie, but a lot of people were upset about it. The Last Jedi did well, but it's what follows that's going to be hurt. And Star Wars is completely broken at this point by what they've done in The Last Jedi. And Doctor Who is the same. Ghostbusters is the same. Marvel Comics is the same. Star Trek Discovery. Political product placement. And if you don't believe they put messages in things, then I don't know what to tell you. So what happens next? Well, we have Big Finish. We have comic books. We have the old Doctor Who episodes. Beyond that, this is what we're going to get. They aren't going to change it. They aren't going to course correct. They're going to stick with Chris Chibnall. This is my belief. So we will see what happens. We will continue covering the show. We cover it every Sunday at 12:15 p.m. Pacific time, right after it airs in the UK, for a live recap. So please join us. Whether you love the show or hate the show, join me in the discussion, and we can discuss it like adults, hopefully. But if not, well, it's YouTube, so I understand that. If you like what I said, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what I said, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. It's fine. It's cool. And whether you're a fan of this show or not a fan of the show, I want you all to be well and have a great day.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.